Everyone remembers Jordan, Gretzky, Montana, Jeter. This isn't about them. This is about the other guys. No Hall of Famers, no MVPs. This is the Unheralded. And we're telling you, don't forget about Nick Van Exel. Nick Van Exel, 6'1" point guard out of Cincinnati. Played 13 years in the NBA. He came into the league in 1993 and retired in 2006. Best known for his highlight handles and his passing ability. So, Brian, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Nick Van Exel?
Yeah, Showtime Lakers, man. It's the first thing I think of Nick Van Exel. Popped in the league, got to play immediately on a contender. Really exciting to watch. A fan favorite. They loved him in LA. Also, super emotional. You want to call him a hothead, you can call him a hothead. Just totally emotionally invested in the game of basketball, and it showed. He didn't hide. He was not a fake guy. He was very sincere. Wore his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah, man. He was a smooth lefty. He was all over the highlight reels, and he was really fun to watch. And it's odd because when I was thinking back about his game, part of me remembers him as a score-first point guard. And the other part of me remembers him as a pass-first point guard. And I think it's because he had so many highlights of both, right? But I think Nick Van Exel, when he was at his absolute best, was when he broke down the defense off the dribble and then threw a flashy pass to a cutter for a dunk. And you know what else I remember about him? His free throws. I don't know if you remember this, but he would always stand about like 2 or 3 feet behind the free throw line.
Okay.
When he shot his free throws, I always wondered about that. So I looked it up for this podcast to see why he did that. And the answer was as simple as he just felt more comfortable back there, which should have been obvious, right? I guess. Sure. It's the only reason you would ever do it. Yeah. But that was the answer. He just felt comfortable doing that. But I still to this day, I have not seen anyone else do that. All right, man. We're going to kick it off with what we always do, naming the teams. Guess the teams. Can you guess every team that Nick Van Exel played on?
In the beginning of the career, yeah. So Lakers, obviously. Off to a great start in his career there. Played in Denver, put up some amazing numbers in Denver. Dallas Mavericks, and then after that, I know at some point the Spurs are in there. And I feel like there's another team that he had a couple games with, but that's all I could think of. All
right, so he was drafted in the second round by the Lakers and played 5 seasons. Then he went to Denver for 4, Dallas for 2, Golden State Warriors for 1 year.
Golden State.
Portland for 1 year.
Okay. And
then he finished with the Spurs. Finished in San Antonio, and tell me, can you guess who he threw his last assist to?
I would say Duncan then.
Tim Duncan.
Is it Duncan?
Yes, sir.
Duncan,
you got it, man.
The big fundamental.
All right, so let's get into a little speed round here.
Speed round.
How many All-Star games did he make?
Maybe 2? 2 All-Star games for Nick Van Exel?
He made one All-Star game in 1998. He averaged 13.8 points and 6.9 assists. And he actually had 7 other seasons where he averaged both more points and more assists, but that was his only All-Star selection. Okay. Now, he never made an All-NBA team. I'm going to cut to the chase there. With only one All-Star appearance, he didn't make an All-NBA team, but he got votes in 3 different years. All right, so I thought that was a cool stat. Okay. All right, one more question for you. Did he win a championship?
I'm going to say those Spurs, it's hard to count the Spurs out when you're on a Spurs team. Yeah, I'm going to say he won 1 championship.
No, he went to the playoffs 7 times and got to the conference championship twice. No titles overall.
Gotcha.
Okay, now, if you remember watching SportsCenter highlights back in the day, you might know this answer, but what was his nickname?
Nick the Quick. Nick the Quick. That was an easy one.
Nick the Quick. Yeah. And according to Basketball Reference, apparently also Nick at Night.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember that personally, but I'm not going to question them. They're the experts. Okay. So time for some stats. Can you guess his career high in points in a single game within 5?
He passed the 40-point mark. Low 40. I'm going to go 43 points.
Ooh, you are right there, man. His single game high was 44 points, which he did twice, once in 2000, once in 2001. And oddly enough, in both games, he shot exactly 16 for 32.
Wow.
And in both games, he also had exactly 8 assists.
Wow. Okay.
So mirror images. Yeah. He scored 40 or more 5 times in his career. Now, can you guess his single game career high in assists within 3?
Yeah, it's up there too. I'm going to go 20 on the nose.
Within 3, you got it. His career high in assist is 23.
20. That's wow. 23.
That's a hell of a lot of assists.
Oof.
Yeah,
Really good.
He had 20 assists 3 different times in his career with that high of 23.
I wonder how many people in the NBA have done that.
It's not many.
More than one 20 assist game.
Yeah.
Rare air.
Not many, man.
Yeah.
So he averaged 14.5 points and 7 assists per game for his career. If you had to guess his points per game and assists per game in his best season, what would you guess?
Yeah. He was scoring in Denver, man. Points per game. He's got above 20. I'm going to say like 26, 27 for a single season.
Not quite that high.
Okay.
His best year overall was 2001, 2002. He averaged 18.5 points, 6.5 assists.
Way off.
But he was actually averaging 21 and 8 on Denver before getting traded mid-season.
Okay.
So he was
21
thinking.
and 8 is good.
You were right thinking Denver. He was in the 20s.
Yeah.
Halfway through the season, he was there. All right, now it is time for our
Cherry-picked stat.
cherry-picked stat of the day. Nick Van Exel had 3 seasons where he was top 10 in both assists and 3-pointers. And he was second in the league in assists per game with 9 in 1999. So, yeah, he could score, he could pass.
Yeah.
He did it all really well. So, it's a little glimpse back into his playing days. Can you tell us what's going on with Nick Van Exel today?
Yeah, Nick. Following Nick Van Exel's career, he started to build a very strong reputation as a good coach in the assistant coaching world. I think he had recently had some family issues with his son, some legal drama going on there. I think he stepped away from the game briefly, but I would not be surprised to see him come back as a scout or an assistant coach, and at some point maybe make his way up to a head coach somewhere.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I really hope he does. You could tell he had love and passion for the game, and it would be great to see him bring that back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is the time of the show where we talk about early, late, or on time. Do you think Nick Van Exel came into the league a little early, a little late, or just at the right time?
Yeah, maybe Nick Van Exel was a little early for his flash, his flair, for his intensity. I think maybe he would have fit in more with the guys of a decade later in his style of play. I don't know. What do you think?
I thought about this. I think he came into the league just at the right time because he had that style and swagger that fit perfectly in the era he played in, right? That was the time
with LA
when,
too. I mean, that's a big market city with fans that
definitely
are rabid for, he yeah, I'm with you.
I think he fit the era he played in really well. It was the era of NBA Jam mixtapes.
Yeah.
SportsCenter Top 10, and he had the perfect game for that.
Yeah.
All right, man. So, give us some closing thoughts.
A couple things about Nick Van Exel. A lot of people might remember this in a negative fashion, but his heart and his emotion and the intensity that he put into the game. Like, you see he had a spat with a referee where he ended up pushing him on a scorer's table, and that cost him some time. And he butted heads with his coach. It was Del Harris at the time, and then that shipped him out of Los Angeles. But he was such a good player, and his heart was in the right place, that Del Harris actually was behind getting him back when he went to the Mavericks. So I think that as much of a pain in the ass sometimes a player that's very emotional can be, you want that guy on your team.
Yeah.
Because he's going to fight for you. And I think that Del Harris knew that. I think they clashed in Los Angeles, and I think he loved that he had so much heart. He was not afraid to bring him back to the Mavericks, which was really cool. So, yeah, just a guy who wore his heart on his sleeve, put it all out on the floor. His emotions didn't always work in his favor, but it was a strength of his game.
I would take him on my team anytime. All right, so that was Nick Van Exel. This was The Unheralded, and we'll see you guys next time.